The moment my vocal mixes started sounding professional was when I finally understood compression. Not just slapping a plugin on, but knowing how to shape dynamics so that every phrase had intention.
Here and I can feel you in me.
I'm Darianna Everett. I'm a diamond recording artist, songwriter, producer, and audio engineer. And we are gonna do a deep dive on compression. Let's go. Guys, if you don't know it already, turn YouTube audio stabilization off. Because if you're listening to this with that on, you're not going to hear anything. And to be honest, when you're doing compression correctly, it's subtle. So you really want to be using headphones for this. All right, so this is a demo I wrote years ago, and I'm kind of revisiting it. I'm not sure if I should actually make it into something. You guys let me know down in the comments. All right, so let's check out this vocal. So I have a cleaning EQ and just like a bit of color on there. So there we go.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name, oh, calling my name.
Anyway, it's a vibe. It is a vibe. Let us load up a simple RVox. RVox just usually hits mark pretty much every time. So I took a preset, good vocal, and one thing I want you to notice is that the level of compression that's actually happening is minimal. We're not doing a lot of gain reduction, and I will tell you why. This is basically just to hear the tone difference. I matched the gain, so it should be pretty much the same. It's really just changing the tone. Take a listen.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name, oh, calling my name.
I mean, compression is kind of wizardry. And when you understand it well, ooh, it is going to be so helpful to you. Next up, we're going to do something that maybe you guys already know. Maybe you guys are like, Darianna, why are you showing us this? Ridiculous. But maybe it'll be helpful. So I'm going to show it anyway because it's a classic. Good old parallel compression. So I have it sent. I have a send here, and it is being sent main P, which is my parallel. And I have it sent at nominal. And what I'm going to do is actually put that on pre so that when I mute our track, we hear exactly what it is. So first off, two things I always do on my parallel. I squash it. They squash, 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 squash. It is like dynamic range. Pff, what's that? Is nothing. It is a wall. Then I also EQ it. And I tend to EQ it a little bit more on the darker side and really focus on having a very punchy mid. So I'll show you. This one I'm using stock plugin. It's the BF76, and I used, I think it's called the London method. It's where you hit shift and you're activating all of the ratio. So it's basically like completely squashed. And then I have it like blasting into there. You're gonna see the needle? It'll go all the way on the other side. And then for EQ, I'm using Pro Q, and we're just cleaning up that low mids, and we're doing like a tiny little boost for intelligibility, but like I'm not at all giving it any air. All right, so this is just the parallel compression.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name, oh, calling my name.
You might be like, that stinks. Why on earth would you be using that? It's hard to listen to. I agree, it's hard to listen to. But when you bring it in and balance between the main track and then the parallel, something magic happens. Let's take a listen. Okay, so I'm gonna just gradually bring it in.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name, oh, calling my name.
I mean, that ain't bad because it emphasizes your performance. You'll want to do that. All right, moving on. We're going to do serial compression. As we can see, we have a relatively small ratio. It's at 1.3. So this one is just really for capturing peaks and transients. Next one, we're going to do tone. With a tone, I am going to go for opto. And opto just means that it's a very slow compressor, meaning that it's not capturing that initial transient like the one we did before, which had a fast attack. this one is going to have a slow attack and a slow release. Let's listen to it.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name.
And then like without it,
I think of your sweet.
come on. It makes such a big difference. Such a big difference. So since we're here and we're talking about tone, we are going to talk about how the attack and release really play a huge role in the tone of it. I'm going to pull the attack all the way down, so it's going to get squashed quite quickly. We have a ratio of 3-to-1. It's still a high ratio for me on vocals, especially my main vocal tape, but that's just me, and I have it put in input is relatively high as well. But I want to show you what it'll sound like when you have it squashed and released. So let's listen to that. Even boost it a little bit just to intensify the experience.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my.
You hear how that's like from the get-go feeling a little bit more squashed and a little bit more flat? I'm gonna put it later, and we're gonna put the attack later as well. Watch this.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my.
Do you notice how almost the ends of the words are feeling thicker?
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my.
You can even go with the needle. My hand is less good of an indication as the needle because the needle is showing you actually how much gain reduction is happening. Also, the tone and like what's being affected. So if it were me, I'd probably pull it back to like 6, maybe 5. I'd probably do something like that.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name. Oh, calling my name.
See, because it now breathes. We're following the performance. We're always thinking. One thing I'm going to repeat a lot is the intention. And the intention of my performance is what? Right now, I'm kind of pulling in, and it's like I'm thinking of this. It's a bit dreamy, but we also want to keep it where it's present. And because I'm a little bit dreamy in my performance, this is helping me out. And then when we have the parallel on it, that's going to help me out even further. So another thing I tend to do is I will write out automation. I think that this is really an important step because it's what takes a performance from like meh to like so much better. Automation is really what will make a record feel like a record. I don't have a console here, so I just use Vocal Writer. And I activated the right, and then I activated the right in Pro Tools, and then I let it ride it. So let's take a listen to just what a vocal rider will sound like.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name. Oh, calling my name.
So then the magic sauce of that automation is then combining it with compression. What we'll do is we'll then first send it into that compressor that takes care of our peaks. And I want to even see what it sounds like in the LA2A.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name.
From demo to a little bit better than a demo, guys. And the good thing about this guy, the LA2A, is I'm using it almost just as saturation, if I'm honest. This little preset, Vocal 1. Very nice. I love the harmonic saturation on here, which is our next topic. I am going to show you 2 different options. I'm going to show you the free, which is always good. I'm going to use lo-fi on stock plugin Pro Tools. This thing is like really heavy-handed, to be honest. And I'm not trying to have our S's explode, which you'll see if we hear an S, it's going to go, it's not cute.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my.
So that's the effect on max, not even on max. No. Okay, so not that. Maybe even 0.1. We just want a little touch.
I think of your sweet.
What ends up happening is with harmonic distortion or saturation, basically the harmonics in your voice are getting like kind of a little bit crunched, and that distortion allows for your ear to perceive it as brighter and warmer and more present. But then let's do that into a compressor and see how that feels.
I think of your sweet
Without.
voice calling my
With.
name. Oh, calling my name.
So this one is subtle, but you can definitely hear it's like it shifts, like the texture of it shifts a bit. Okay, so what I would do, and not the lo-fi, I would do a manly box, because I love a manly box. Great company for hardware and microphones. They're fantastic. So that saturation going into the compressor, please.
I think of your sweet voice calling my.
It just warms it up. You know, and then the other thing you can do is a lot of compressors, they'll have distortion within it. And this one on Smack, the even one, I find sounds really nice. Take a listen.
Think of your sweet voice calling my.
It makes it very warm and smooth. All right, guys. One of the most important things for me within my compression is my dynamic shaping, right? And this dynamic shaping, I'm looking at what is the intention of what I am saying? Or if I were working with an artist, what is the intention of what they are saying? What is the story their voice is telling me? What is the characteristic of their voice? What is important in the performance that I, as the producer, the engineer, can listen to and say, hey, I need to paint the same story. Now let's take a look at this part.
There's magic in the way you soothe.
So we have some color going on, some nuance in my vocal performance. There's magic in the way you soothe. I go a little bit in my head voice. I have a little texture on it. Because there's nuance, I want to be very, very clear with how I'm going to approach the dynamic shaping of it. So for me, what I would try to do, let's think of the intention of this. We have some intensity we need to bring, so that parallel is for sure going to be there, and I would probably boost it at certain points and then pull it back at certain points. So automate that. I would then also make sure that I have my vocal writing done, so I have vocal writer active. I want to be capturing my transients, so going to be trying to reduce my dynamic range, so when it goes into what would be my coloring and tone compressor, that will feel a lot more smooth. However, what it's not going to do is squash it. It's really going to give it the space to breathe, capturing my problems, supporting what needs to be supported, as well as like maintaining my performance. Let's go. Let's see how that goes.
There's magic in the way you soothe. That touch.
Okay, well, since we're here at the harmonies, we might as well see what's happening in the harmonies. I wanted to show you how I treat harmonies differently than a main vocal. Often what I will do on my harmony bus is I will make sure I have an EQ. I'm darkening it probably a bit because I want it to be a little bit further back in the mix than my main vocal. What I will also do is have a compressor that it's like kind of gentle, but it's still capturing what it needs to, but it's like more than anything gluing everything together. And then on Smack, again, I'm doing an opto, but like ultimately I want the vocals, the background vocals, especially ones that are more airy, to breathe a bit more. But if it's like punchy, a lot of words, I'm going to tighten that up. So let's listen to it without it. Okay, so nothing on that. But yeah, with everything, now let's take a listen to that.
Soothe. That touches up.
Cool. I like that. So that's the general process of compression. All right, guys. So I have one last final tip for you. I saved my favorite for last. So this is basically going to be almost like an ear training exercise for you, right? I want you to tell me if this is enough compression. All right, so close your eyes.
I think of your sweet, sweet voice calling my name.
Wow, that sounded amazing. Psych! That's horrible! Obviously, it's so bad and it's getting squashed entirely. So the exercise was for you to really hear what too much compression sounds like so you never do it. Ever. So that's a very important lesson. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll push it beyond what would be nice to my ear just so I can really hear what it's doing and then pull it back. So if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's down below. If you'd like the song, let me know if I should actually try and produce it. Let me know what tricks are your favorite compression tricks. There are so many out there. These are just ones that I use a lot for vocals and I find them very helpful. But yeah, it was so much fun hanging with you today and I hope you enjoy. Also, be sure to check out LANDR.com. They have like an entire ecosystem for you, which is so cool. They have everything you need to finish your song and then release it. So go check that out. They're really awesome. And thank you so much, LANDR, for having me. Bye.